Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another fragrance video. This video is going to be about my challenge called 300 different scents in 300 days. And that's basically a challenge I took upon in order to celebrate the first birthday of my YouTube channel. And in this challenge, what I'm trying to do is basically wear 300 different scents as my scent of the day in 300 consecutive days and then share with my experience with you guys. And in this episode I'm going to cover from day 15 to day 21 of this challenge. The start of this week weather-wise was quite cold, quite chilly, so for the first few days of the week I went with scents that are more oriented towards cold weather. And for Monday, which is the start of this week and day 15 of this challenge, I went with a fragrance from the house of Latafa called Latafa Assad. Now this is a fragrance that at this point is very well known in the community. I've had this fragrance for quite a while, more than a year now, and this of course is a let's call it an alternative, or some people may call it a clone of none other than Dior Sauvage Elixir. In my opinion, this is more an alternative, a twist of the original scent. This is not as spicy, doesn't feel as fresh. This is like a sweeter, slightly more mature, slightly toned down version of Elixir. Still a great fragrance, and I've been enjoying this one ever since the day that I got it. Performance here is very good. 8 to 9 hours of performance. Projection is nice for about an hour and a half up to 2 hours. Price tag is pretty low, and this definitely is a great alternative to Sauvage Elixir, and very cheap one that costs a fraction of the price, like a quarter or a fifth of the price of the original. Day 16 of this challenge I went with another Latafa, this one Wood for Glory, another very hyped up fragrance from the house of Latafa, another alternative to a very expensive fragrance, in this case niche fragrance called Wood for Greatness, Initials Wood for Greatness. This is the Latafa's interpretation of that DNA. Now, I've never been the biggest fan of this particular fragrance and this DNA. You got some rose, you got some spices, some woods, some sweetness amber on the dry down. Performance here, some people have claimed this to be a beast performing fragrance. In my experience, this has never been the case. It's not a bad performer. I get 7 to 8 hours, but I'm not the biggest fan neither of the performance of this fragrance nor the scent profile. But still, from time to time, I try to challenge myself and wear this fragrance just to see if my opinion has changed about it. And it's not, my opinion has not changed, my feelings have not changed about this fragrance. I still am not the hugest fan of Wood for Glory. Day 17 of this challenge, I went with a fragrance from the house of Armaf called Signature Night. Now, this is a fragrance that's relatively unknown, although it's quite an old release from Armaf, and I didn't knew about this fragrance for until a few months ago, where I sort of stumbled upon this one. And this is a clone or alternative to one of my favorite designer scents from the house of Bulgari called Men in Black. This is Armaf's interpretation of that DNA. It's a little bit different, especially in the opening. It's lighter, it's slightly fresher, a little bit more spicy version of Men in Black in the opening. But the dry down, will get you quite close to the original scent. And with a few months of maceration, what I've noticed is that the dry down has become a little bit richer, a little bit sweeter, and thus a little bit closer to the original scent. So if you like the DNA of Men in Black, but you don't want to spend that amount of money and you're looking for an alternative, definitely check out Signature Night from Armaf. For day 18 of this challenge, I went with something that's very new to my collection, from Maison Alhambra Baroque Satin Oud. If you hear the name and you're familiar with fragrances, you probably immediately realize that this is a clone of MFK's Oud Satin Mood. Really a nice clone of the original fragrance, with very strong performance, very strong projection. This thing is really loud in the first 2 to 2.5 hours of its life. The scent of this is all about the mix of a very sweet jammy rose, some ouds, a synthetic oud, some spices, and amber sweetness. As I said, a very loud fragrance. At least so far, I'm still going through the testing process of this fragrance, but so far performance has been pretty decent, about 8 hours, maybe slightly over 8 hours. But as I said, this is a very loud fragrance. So if you're looking for an alternative to Oud Satin Mood and you like rose-based fragrances that are very loud. Definitely check out the Baroque Satin Oud from the House of Maison Alhambra. For day 19 of this challenge, I went with another new fragrance for my collection from the House of Rouet Broca Touche. Really interesting looking bottle. As I said, this is one of the newest additions to my collection. I've been really impressed so far with the House of Rouet Broca. It's a sub-brand of Afnan. They're releasing very cheap fragrances that are, from what I've seen so far, all of them are clones of original scents, and this is a clone of Jean-Paul Gaultier's Ultramont. Now, I love the original DNA. I have a lot of clones, and I decided to give this one a try as well. I'm still going through the testing process of this fragrance as well, but so far I've been liking this one. This is, at least so far to my nose, it's like a little bit of a simplified version of the original scent. You still get the same players, you know, sweet pear note, lavender, vanilla, but this seems to be a little bit more, the scent here seems to be orientated a little bit more towards the vanilla side of things. The vanillic sweetness is a little bit stronger compared to the original one. So far it lacks a little bit of that sparkling bubblegummy feel that you get in the opening. Feels like the whole scent is a little bit sweeter. Performance here so far from my testing has been decent, maybe about 8 hours, with quite strong projection in the first about hour and a half. Price tag of this thing is dirty cheap. Day 20 of this challenge was a very special day for me for two reasons. First of all, my baby boy had his first birthday yesterday, and also my wife's birthday was yesterday. They're born on the same date, so it was sort of a huge celebration. We had a huge party, about 50 guests, so I had to go with something very special scent-wise, you know, to my heart, and that was a fragrance from the House of Xerjoff, and it's called Naxos. A fantastic scent. I absolutely love this DNA, you know, like a pure Havana and Naxos, this mix of vanilla, honey and tobacco. I love this one so much. It's very special for me, and it was kind of suiting for a special occasion. Performance here is great. The scent profile is blended, so the scent is blended absolutely fantastic. The presentation is top-notch with every Xerjoff fragrance. It's a little bit more expensive, of course, but it's a niche house and you get a fantastic scent in return. Performance is great, projection is great, compliment factor is great. My scent of the day for day 20 was the special fragrance from Xerjoff, Naxos. And for day 21 of this challenge, which is today, my scent of the day is Alkyam Silver from the House of Lattafa. This, of course, is a Lattafa's take on the Bulgari's Tiger DNA. Scent-wise, this is very close to the original scent. You get that mix of citruses in the opening with nice grapefruit notes, and on the dry down musk, oud, some sweetness from the amber. This is a very interesting fragrance. Out of the all clones that I have of Tiger, this is probably my least favorite, but I don't want to you know, bash on this fragrance in any way. It's interesting. The thing that I don't like the most for this fragrance is the fact that it's not very hard projecting fragrance. The performance here is very good on skin. It lasts for quite a while. But in my experience, this has been more of a moderate projecting fragrance, more of an intimate type of scent. But as I said, on skin, it lasts for quite a while. Very high compliment factor, super versatile fragrance. It's great for warm weather, but it can also be worn in cold weather as well. And that was all for this episode of my challenge called 300 different scents in 300 days. In this episode, I covered my scent of the day from day 15 to day 21. I hope that you found this video interesting or entertaining. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.